I don't have an intro, but you can call me Xander or Art, and I'm here to bring you my TBR for the 16th round of the Queer Lit Readathon. If you don't know, the Queer Lit Readathon is a twice annual readathon focused around reading queer books, as the title would suggest. This round starts December 7th, I believe, and runs until the 14th. And there is a bingo card, the challenges, but you don't necessarily have to complete any of those challenges to participate. You just have to read queer books. I'll leave, like, all of the rest of the pertinent information and questions that you may have, in the description with, like, announcement videos from the hosts and stuff, if you do have any other questions. But without further ado, let's get into the books. Also, I wanted to point out, this is the same bookshelf that I usually film in front of, but I wanted to sit down, so it's the shelves you don't usually see, especially this one. I think you can sometimes see the top of this one, but you don't usually see this one. My copies of Regeneration are right here, but anyway, I just wanted to point that out because I know it's different. I also, low-key, don't know how I made this so, like, tightly focused, but I'm loving it, I'm here for it. Hope I can do it again. But if not, apologies in the future, because I still really don't know how to work a camera that well. But that tangent aside, I am going to try and do like a backwards L type thing for the challenges on the bingo card. And I'm going to, I guess we're gonna start at the top of the L, which is the choose your own category, but since I'm using books for multiple categories, I'm just gonna go with the books, and I'll put the challenges with the books. But yeah, it's gonna look, I'll put the graphic with the little L that I'm gonna try and make, like, here. Hopefully editing me cooperates and puts that in for you. But yeah, I don't think I'm actually going to read all of these books in that week. But if anything, I'll just continue what I did with the June one, where if I didn't finish it, I didn't finish them all in June, I just continued reading them. So yeah, I am gonna hopefully try and do like just a end of the year wrap up that will include those books, because I've read all but one. I still haven't read Fire from Heaven. But I did start it, and I've got farther than I ever had before. Maybe, I don't think I'm gonna finish it this year. Maybe I will, I don't know. Jury's still out. That's not what you're here for anyway, though. You're here for the Queer Lit Readathon challenge books. So, create your own category. Why break something that already works so well? I am yet again making my create your own category Queer World War I. It's my brand at this point. What can I say? And I have a very good ebook for it that also fits, which other ones? It also can count for historical fiction, even though technically it's historical fantasy, and 16 letters because it's 18 letters. I could not find anything that was exactly 16 letters, but this is close. 18 is pretty close to 16, and those are all of the challenges that this book is going to cover, and that book is Imperfect Illusions by Venora Lawless. which I will read you the synopsis if I can get the Kobo app to work. Okay, so here is the synopsis. A drafted empath, a dream-walking poet, a world at war. Chicago, 1917. Idealistic, aspiring poet Elliot Stone can make people feel euphoria or horror with a simple touch. But that's only part of his magical abilities. He can also wake in the dreams of people he cares deeply for. Stubborn, fiercely independent Warren Sully Sullivan is an illusionist with a secret. He feels the emotions of others as visceral sensations. A lifetime of fending for himself and parsing feelings that aren't his own has left him guarded. An intoxicating, intense connection on their last night of freedom should be nothing more than a one-night stand. And it is, until Elliot awakens in Sully's nightmare with an overpowering urge to save him, regardless of his carefully crafted moral code. As tragedy draws them together in real life to battle enemies with twisted magic, weakness is a disastrous liability. When keeping safe means revealing his to Elliot, can Sully take the risk? And I know there's a second one, so that's exciting. But yeah, that is what I am going to be reading for those prompts on my Kobo, because it's an ebook. So yes, that's exciting. It's gonna fulfill Queer World War I, 16 letters in historical fiction, even though technically it is historical fantasy, as you would have gathered, but yes. Very excited to read it. Sounds very up my alley. And yeah, we can move on to the next ebook that I have. Since I have it out, I might as well. This is just fulfilling the bookish prompt, because I was like, I had everything picked out for the L and I had that square left. And then, thankfully, Cat Sebastian came in clutch, and actually, I can use this book for historical fiction in 16 letters as well, because I think it has like 22. And that's her newest book that she, I think, self-published, called After Hours at Dooryard Books. So this one, the synopsis is 1968, New York City. News about the war might be keeping Patrick up at night. News in general might be keeping Patrick up at night, but he's doing fine. He's sure of it. He gets to spend his days selling books in the gayest neighborhood on the East Coast, and nights merrily sleeping his way through the rare book community. But when he takes in a drifter who seems to be hiding something, and his best friend and her newborn move into the apartment upstairs, his life gets turned on its head. A sleepy little bookstore should be the perfect place for Nathaniel to lie low, waiting for his past to catch up with him. But it turns out Dooryard Books is full of political radicals and anti-war agitators. If the FBI isn't actively surveilling this place, it will be. Nathaniel should go anywhere else. The last thing he expects is to like these subversives. There's a grieving folk musician and her baby, a demon of a child who will only sleep if Nathaniel, of all people, holds her. There's a pair of rabble-rousing teenagers who, upsettingly, seem to be right about everything. And then there's Patrick, who can't walk past anyone who needs his help, and who is perplexingly determined to help Nathaniel. As the world balances on the precipice of something new and scary, and maybe even hopeful, Patrick needs to decide what he's willing to risk for this chaotic new community he's accidentally created. And Nathaniel needs to figure out whether he has a place in this messy, flawed world, and whether he can believe he deserves it. So, yeah, that sounds also amazing. The war it's referring to, in case you don't know, is the Vietnam War, which, what a time in U.S. history. So, anyway, very also excited to read that. Cat Sebastian can do no wrong in my eyes. There are so many of her books that, like, are on my TBR that I need to get to. But I think I moved it. At one point, I had my physical copy of Hither Page here, but I think I moved it. It's no longer there. That's if we were villains. So, anyway, though, love Cat Sebastian. That sounds amazing. I will say, it's going to be a little difficult for my brain to read about a Nathaniel on the run from an FBI and not think about Off of the Game. And especially because, like, not only is that just in the books, I then took it out of the books. My car is named Nathaniel. And then I also named my D&D character Nathaniel. All based on All for the Game. So that's gonna be a little tricky just for me personally. But I have no doubts Cat Sebastian can pull it off. And I am very eager to see what this Nathaniel is up to. Is he also the son of a mobster? We'll see. Probably not. But anyway, I just thought that was really interesting, and I needed to go on a tangent about it. But yeah, that's mostly the bookish prompt, but it can also be for, I guess technically it would actually be the better book to fit in for the historical fiction prompt, since it's actual historical fiction, not historical fantasy, but they're both historical fiction. Historical fiction is a very wide umbrella term. So, anyway, the next two books I actually own. They're physical books. I don't have any audiobooks on this TBR. I don't know what I was thinking. Hence why I don't think I'll finish it in a week. But one of them is a graphic novel. And that graphic novel is going to be fulfilling the TBR oldie and the seasons prompts. And that graphic novel is Life of Melody, which I've had since like 2022, I want to say. I think I got it on my trip to Nashville in 2022, and then just proceeded not to read it. Don't know why. I chose it for seasons because it has like very fall aesthetic, especially on the back. Look at those fall leaves. And then like on the inside too, it has like these kind of leaves. So it gives very much fall vibes, so that's why I chose it for seasons. And then TBR oldie, as I mentioned, I've had this since like, it's not like the oldest on my TBR, but definitely had it for like several years at this point. And it's a graphic novel. I don't know why I haven't read it yet. That's actually the case with a lot of books down on the shelf below this one. So they're all graphic novels, and a lot of them actually I still need to read. But I will read you the back, which the top says to, in parentheses, supernatural, men and a baby. A human child abandoned in the woods is discovered by an unlikely pair. Razzmatazz, a fairy godfather, and Bon, a beast man. After quarreling over the best way to handle the child, they finally agree to co-parent in the human world, for now at least. What the two men don't expect is this little arrangement will push them to discover more about themselves, and more about each other, which might result in love. In this charming LGBT plus rom-com, one temporary magical family might just become real. And then let me see a good, like, page for art. I'm trying not to, like, spoil myself too much, but also I'm like, I want to show you guys some art. I'm also, like, curious about the art. Ooh, this is good, I think. So there we go. That is some of the art we're dealing with. Very pretty. Very excited to finally get around to reading it. And then finally, to complete my little L, backwards L, is middle grade. Technically, I've already started this book, but hear me out. It's The Court of the Dead by Rick Riordan and Marco Shiro. And it's the second in the, like, Are we just calling this the Sun and the Star series? I don't know. It doesn't say. It just says a Nico D'Angelo adventure, and then it's like, you know, book 2. It just says book 2 on the spine. I guess that's what it is. Anyway, it's the sequel to The Sun and the Star. I went to the book tour for it. So it is, I think it's signed. Pretty sure it's signed. Yes. There you go. And I got a hat as well. But yes, so I started it before the thing started, right? So I was like reading it, and then I did not read it after I got home. My intention was to start it then, and then read continue reading it, but this was back like in October, I want to say. I think it was before Halloween. It's Halloween colors, which Mark was very excited about. But yeah, I haven't continued since then. So yeah, I am like, it counts. I'm gonna count it. And it's just for the middle grade square. So yeah. I don't think I need to explain much. It's the sequel to Sun and the Star. I'm not gonna go too in depth, because spoilers for lots of things, quite frankly. Not only the Sun and the Star, but the Sun and the Star itself is like a spoiler for like the Heroes of Olympus and Trials of Apollo series. So like, it's in that universe, it's a sequel. I don't need to say more. You can look it up if you really want to. But I'm sure you probably heard of Percy Jackson, so. It's in that universe, and it's like the newest Nico D'Angelo book. Because I guess there are other Percy books. I haven't read any of those, and I'm not sure if I'm going to. I don't know. I might, but I mostly just like my Nico books. So, anyway, we'll see if I can continue reading this to fulfill that middle grade square. But maybe it'll continue to be halfway, not even half. I think I read like 30 pages. I don't know, something like that. So, I'll get to it eventually, I'm sure. But anyway, those are all of the books that I plan on reading that week. I do not, like I said, I do not anticipate finishing all of them, but I'll definitely finish the graphic novel, and I think both of the ebooks are fairly short. I don't think they're super short, but I think they're fairly short. I don't think either of them are like super long, so maybe I can finish both of those in the graphic novel. We'll see. But yeah. If you want, you can let me know what you're reading in the comments if you're participating, or if any of these sound interesting to you, or if you just want to say anything, feel free. And yeah, that's all I got. Don't know when I'll be back, but I will see you in the next video.